Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Matt with Green Bar Trading here. Back with another weekly watch list video for you guys. We'll go over a couple of things happening in the market this coming week, and we'll take a look at the QQQ and the SPY and do some technical analysis for you guys, hoping to give a better direction of where the market's going. But right up there on the screen, you have your earnings for the week. Earnings season is starting to dwindle down. A lot of the tech stocks have already had their earnings, some still big ones to go. But this week, for the most part, a lot of Dow stocks, S&P 500. If you're trading those, like I tell everyone, just you're going to be paying a good amount in premium. And if you don't get that big move in your favor, that IV crush is going to kill you. So just be aware, trading options around earnings or shares around earnings is always risky. So just know what you're doing before you trade any of those. Okay, so now going into what I always like to look at, and I strongly recommend you guys do also, is the economic calendar for the coming week, right? What does that mean? That means all those big data, all the important economic news and reports, knowing when they come out, because you don't want to be trading and then have a report come out that you were not aware of and the market goes one way or the other, right? Sometimes you might get lucky and the market goes in your favor. Sometimes it might go against you. But just know the times of day that those big reports are coming out. Now, this week coming up, what I see here is Tuesday's a big day with the PPI. That's the Producer Price Index. Some inflation gauges, right? On Wednesday, it's the Consumer Price Index. These are things that all investors are looking at, the Fed is looking at. They want to see that inflation, still getting into their safe spot, right? They're looking for 2%. So just keep in mind, those are big reports, and they're on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, you have a pretty decent day too with the U.S. retail sales and the jobless claims. This one is starting to get even more important. If you guys were paying attention to the last jobs report, you can tell that these jobs reports and job numbers and unemployment reports are starting to make a difference, right? So keep in mind that's on Thursday. Friday, consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Be aware of that one because it can spike one way or the other at 10 o'clock in the morning, 30 minutes after market open. All right, so that's your economic calendar right there. Looking at the sectors and their performance with each other, right? So if you look back 3 months ago, for the last 3 months, I should say, real estate up 9%. Technology up 5%, healthcare 4%, and then the defensives up to around 2%. All right. Looking at the 1 month, real estate, utilities, but look what happened with technology, down 10% in the last month. Going back this past week, technology had a good week. Energy had a good week. These usually are not having good weeks at the same time. One is defensive and one is, technology, which is obviously a very aggressive, high risk, high reward type of stocks. So, more risk is in those stocks. Energy, there's a little less risk. Usually they'll take that around with utilities, real estate, as far as playing defense and some financials. So that's the week. That's last week, okay? The one day, communication services, technology, they all had good days. They're starting to rebound after this last month. Technology's been one of the worst sectors. So it's starting to rebound. That's what I'm noticing this past week. Now, will that continue? We did see a nice pullback in the market. We saw a very healthy correction, which we're going to get to in a second. But just keeping in mind, you want to look at the sectors and how they're doing. And it's very important to know what is hot, maybe what's not, where the big money is starting to go into. you know, what's having a rough time. So it's always good to look back at these performances. All right, so that's your sectors and their relative performance. All right, now going into the charts, I want to start with the QQQ here. This is the daily chart. Every one of these candlesticks represents 1 day of trading. These are the volume down here, these volume bars. I love looking at the volume. You know, I find that if you have big moves, but not on a lot of volume, those moves don't carry as much weight as the big moves on heavy volume. A lot of institutional money coming in. That's what I like to look at. And also, one of my favorite indicators is the RSI, right? This is the relative strength index. When the market is overbought, you will hit 70 and over. And when it's oversold, you'll hit down here at 30. This is a great gauge, right? I'll just keep it a little higher here. If we look back at the last year here, great times to sell, right? Overbought, it's overbought on the RSI, and then the market pulls back. It gets to oversold territory right here, and then the market starts to rebound. So there's some traders that will only trade when the market is oversold or overbought. The market's very hard to time. But if you're putting, you know, some knowledge in there with, you know, some good due diligence, you have a better shot at predicting the right move. So right here, we're starting to rebound. Now, what is this white line? That's a trend line. Okay. We have a touch here last year, and then a bounce right here. All right. So you have that trend line. You also have the 200 moving average. Okay. The 200 moving average held up here. That's an important one to look at. So that's holding up. We've had our healthy pullback. It's been about a month of that pullback. Now, if we look at the SPY, again, a nice pullback. Okay. You have here a very healthy 10% pullback. That's exactly the type of correction that you'd be looking for, along with a 5% pullback that happened back in April. All right. The market doesn't just go straight up. You need to have these corrections. A 10% correction is a very good one. Now, back here, if we look at last year's trading, you had a pullback for 3 months that went 10%. All right. This one was just a little faster. It only took a month. This one took 3 months. So that's where we're at right now. Again, I like to look at the RSI. You can see here, oversold, hit that level perfectly, just like back here in April. And now you see the market bouncing. Does that mean that we're done with this? Probably not. Probably not. And I'll tell you why. The volume here on Friday and again on Thursday was really declining from the initial move that happened on Monday. Remember, we all woke up, the stock market was down a ton coming from Sunday to Monday. You see that declining volume as the market is going up. I want to see more volume before I'm sure that this is not over with yet. All right. But so far, this is what we're looking at. And we can only go with our technical analysis, the indicators, and watch those reports coming out this week. We'll see what the CPI looks like. We'll see what the producer price index looks like. And then we can watch the volume profile and, you know, see how the market reacts to those certain levels. All right. Hope you enjoyed the quick video. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.